Have you ever heard of the parable of the prodigal son? That's what the story that Jesus told in Luke 15 is usually called. But that's not really what it should be called, I don't think. We'll take a quick look at it here. The prodigal son was a freaking moron. The story is about the forgiving father. And Jesus told it to set forth in a parable the heart of God for you. We all sin, my gosh, especially before we are Christians, we sin royally. Remember, we sin royally after we're Christians. When we confess our sin and ask for forgiveness, it says in 1 John 1:9 that He is faithful and just to forgive us and to cleanse us of all unrighteousness. And we, who are Christians, have been totally cleansed once and for all of all our past sins. The people to whom Jesus was speaking in Luke 15 were not people who could be born again and thus receive the gift of righteousness from that moment on. But Jesus nonetheless wanted to show the heart of God. And this is God's heart to you. If you've been told that God is a mean old man trying to get you and hurt you, and He's going to show you, and you're going to get what's coming to you and all this, listen to this. There was a man who had two sons. The younger one said to his father, the younger one, and the culture is that the older one is the one that gets the lion's share of the inheritance, so forth and so on. The younger one said to his father, "Give me my share of the estate." I think that was a reasonable request. I mean, he wanted his. He was, I guess he could ask for it. So he divided his property between them. Not long after that, the younger son got together all that he had, set off for a distant country, and there squandered his wealth in wild living. Apparently, his share was substantial, but he went through it with wild living. After he had spent everything, there was a severe famine in the whole country, and he began to be in need. So he went. First of all, why didn't he just go back home and talk to his father? We'll see. He felt guilty. He felt ashamed. And that's what keeps many people from running into the arms of God, even when they blow what God has given them. Watch. So he went, and he hired himself out to a citizen of that country who sent him into his field to feed pigs. This kid was Jewish. A pig was like anathema to a Jew. And he went to feed pigs. I think the guy knew he was a Jew and was taking advantage of it and just rubbing it in and telling him he was the scum of the earth. And yet, he went ahead and did it. He longed, maybe you've been down and out like this. He longed to fill his stomach with the pods that the pigs were eating, but no one gave him anything. When he came to his senses, that is such a good destination to get to. Maybe you've been away from your senses. I've been away from mine sometimes. What was I thinking? What were you thinking? So we want to come to our senses quickly. If we ever depart, we want to come back quickly. He said, holy smoke, he got in touch with reality. Something got him in touch with the way things really were. And he said, how many of my father's hired men have food to spare? And here I am, his son, out here starving to death. I will set out and go back to my father and say, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I will. First, he made a decision. He came to grips with reality. He realized his reality sucked, if you will, and he said, I'm going to change this. I'm going to do what I can to make something different. So he got this little speech rehearsed, and he was going to say, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Just make me one of the hired men. And he was rehearsing that speech all the way back home. Next verse says he got up, went to his father. Look at this verse. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him. When he was still a long way off, his father saw him. How could that be? His father was looking. His father was craning his neck to look out on the horizon. His father was concerned with him. He knew that the kid was living in hog country, as the saying goes, and he was looking for him to come home. And he was filled with compassion as soon as he saw this kid. The kid had taken a lot of money and totally squandered it. But look, the father ran to his son. He didn't even wait for the kid to come all the way to him. He ran to his son, threw his arms around him and kissed him, whereupon the son goes into his little speech. Verse 21, the son said to him, Father, I don't think he had note cards, but anyway, he had a long time to memorize it. Father, I've sinned against heaven and against you, and I am no longer worthy to be called your son. But the father said to his servants, Quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger, giving him the signet authority of the family once again, and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. So they began to celebrate. The kid, the father, totally blew off the little canned speech there. And why? Because the father saw the son differently than the son saw himself. You need to see yourself the way God sees you. I need to see myself totally the way God sees me, because then I will understand who I am. And for us as Christians, that's a very big deal. But look at the heart of the forgiving Father. That's God's heart for you. No matter what hog country you have been in, no matter even after becoming a Christian, you have gone to the depth of depravity. There are many people who tell you, you're done, you've lost your salvation, you'll never get back. Hogwash! Just fell into that one. Hogwash! Uh-oh. Verse 25, meanwhile, the older son was in the field. When he came back home after a hard day's work, he heard music and dancing. He said, What's up? What's the party? Your brother has come, said the servant. Your father killed the fattened calf because he has him back safe and sound. What did the brother think about that? Uh-oh. The older brother became angry and refused to go in. Yeah, I see this in me sometimes. You can see this in you, but you'll see it in other people. They're not happy for the success of someone else. Look what he said. He went in with his father and pleaded with him. His father went out and pleaded with him. Come on in, join the party, your brother's home. But he answered his father, Look, all these years I've been slaving for you and I've never disobeyed your orders. You didn't even give me a young goat so I could celebrate with my friends. But when this bum son of yours, who has squandered your property with prostitutes, comes home, you kill the freaking fatted calf for him. My son, the father said, look at the father's heart even for this churlish brother. You are always with me and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and be glad because this brother of yours was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. If you don't know Jesus Christ, you're lost. Whether you think you're lost or not, you're lost. Have you ever not been lost and not known it? Sure you have. Then you find out, oh my gosh. Then if you're a man, you keep driving. You never ask for directions. No, ask for directions. And Jesus Christ, who is the way, will point you to salvation and life. And if you get lost on the road as a Christian, you're already a Christian, you're off in hog country, He'll get you back. You can recover from any detour you take, because He's always ready to pick you up wherever you are and help you to go forward with Him.